All of the food we eat and much of the clothing we wear comes from plants and animals that are raised on farms. Farms are different in type, in size, and even in name.
Welcome to Barn Talk. What happens at the barn stays in the barn, but not today. We're going to let it all out for you guys. Today is going to be a Q&A episode. So for those of you that want to get your questions answered on the show, you can submit them through emailing us at barntalkshow@gmail.com, and that's how you get your question answered. There's a few things before we get started that we'd like to ask for you guys. If you get any value from the show, all that we ask is you share it out with the people that you know. The more that you guys do that, the more that this show can grow, the more guests we can get on, the more episodes we can make. It's kind of the ticket to admission to watch or listen to the show. Another thing you can do to help us out here at Barn Talk is leave a review on Spotify or Apple. That gives our show a lot of credibility and helps us recruit more guests to come on the show. So that's like the number one metric to measure the success of a podcast. So we would appreciate any of you that like the show. Let us know what you think. Last thing you can do to support us here at our family farm and Barn Talk is support our direct-to-consumer meat business, Farmer Grade, farmergrade.com. You can always use code BARNTALK to save 10% off your next order. And we got everything that you could possibly think of on there for you to pick and choose to feed your family, everything meat-wise. So
Super Bowl's coming.
Super Bowl is coming, and I think we're going to do a Super Bowl bundle. We're going to throw in, if you get over a certain amount of money, we're going to do some free Wagyu burger patties, maybe some free brats, but we got you covered when it comes to Super Bowl. It's going to be a good game, big game. Bills are still in it, so let's hope Josh Allen can finally beat the Chiefs and get into the big game. And I really don't want to see the Chiefs, and I really don't want to see the Eagles again. So let's hope for something different. Rooting for Jaden Daniels and the Commanders as well. Although I think they should still be the Redskins, but we won't go any further.
It might be coming back.
It might be coming back. There is some Native American tribes that are kind of pissed that they changed the name because now they don't have any representation.
Yep.
So that'd be pretty sick if it went back because I thought it was a better mascot than the frickin' Commanders, but we won't go down that rabbit hole.
Well, they're not very good Commanders.
No, this is about the first year that they've actually shown that they've got some command.
Yeah.
They're making a run in the playoffs, and I think they got their franchise quarterback, Jane Daniels, so Cowboys are going to be fucked for a while.
Who's going to be the new Cowboys coach?
Gosh, I don't know. I have no idea. Anybody that goes into that situation's got to deal with Jerry, and I think that's why coaches are probably a little... I mean, yeah, it's the biggest market sports team in the world, but gosh, it's a lot of pressure being there, and you got to deal with the Jones family and them talking to the media, and it's hard to, I think, have control of that team because there's so much shit always in their shit. So I don't really know. I don't know what they're going to do. I think they're going to have to rebuild.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
I'm going to have to witness another rebuild. Yeah, so whoever they hire, though, I hope they can turn things around.
Yep. Their former coach, he's going to have to take his Perkins menu somewhere else.
Yep, he does like his play calling sheet. He does love that thing. We have a new background if you guys are watching the show on Spotify or YouTube. Dad just had one of those random hairs grow on his ass, and he just was like, you know what, I'm sick of looking at the hay. That's kind of how Dad operates. He's kind of a squirrel, and so when he has an idea come to his head, or a hair grow on his ass, he just does something about it. So
when we started this, behind us, there was never a wall there. That was just a lean-to coming off of the hay mow, and it just went down to nothing. So, it started at like 5.5 feet, and then the slope of the roof just went down. So it really wasn't usable space, and we never really cleaned it out. I mean, we took the big stuff out of it, but it was pretty dirty back there. And so when we were getting this going, we're like, oh, we'll just stack straw bales in front of it, temporary. And then we were like, well, that looks pretty good. So we just left it. But when we insulated the roof line of the barn, that back area there, that's just that much more space that you got to heat and cool. And this stretch of cold weather, it was a booger to keep enough heat in here for us to shoot in. And I just am like, we got to get that fixed. And I just decided I was going to side it with car siding to match what is the other side. So you can't ever see the other side of the barn because all our cameras face this way. But it looks just like that, only that wood is weathered, so the color's not quite right. I might have to stain it. But anyway, I got that all done, and I was telling Sawyer, when I got down to the end and I got the last piece in, I made a doorway so you can get back there if we need to get a big piece of furniture up here or something, because there's a hole back there that you can throw hay down. The amount of cold air that cut off, amazing. So it's a lot more... The environment's a lot better. So, and it also gives us a lot of flexibility. I don't know if we'll put shelves up there. I don't know what we'll do. But
I was going to say, if you guys are watching and you look behind us, let us know what you think we should put back there. Should we do some farm memorabilia? Should we make Dad's side full of stuff that he likes and treasures? Should we make my side stuff that I like and treasure? Should we give us some suggestions? Give us some ideas. We want to make this... studio pretty kick-ass, and we want to have some stuff behind us that, I don't know, it matches the vibe. So let us know what you guys think, because we're open to making things cool. So
we're going to make the barn great again.
We are going to make it great again, and this country is going to be great again too. So we're heading in the right direction. All of us are heading in the right direction. You got a hot market update that you want to get through?
I do. We were trying to make the corn market great again. Today we stutter-stepped a little bit. But it's been a pretty good week. I mean, it's only Wednesday as we record this, but corn today closed down. I think it closed down 6. March corn 484. Locally, the best bid I could find was 454 local and 464 in Cedar Rapids. March beans closed at 1056. That was down 11. And 1025 at Burlington, 1046 at Quincy. Bean meal, $315 a ton. March wheat closed at $554. On the corn market, report came out today. They're estimating that there'll be 2.8 million more acres of corn. I guess I'm not the only one that thought, screw these beans, we're going to plant corn. And bean acres, obviously, down like 2.4 million acres. So.
Or everybody farmed up to the fence line.
Yeah, I think
every acre, every bushel they can get, they farmed it.
I think people are cutting back on that a little bit because none of it pencils that great right now. So there may be some less desirable ground that actually maybe goes back into CRP. I don't know. Hogs for February, $81, which that is right around break even. Average break even is right about $80. But a hell of a lot of people think the hog market must be heading in the right direction because weaners this week right about $85. And feeder pigs are over 100, and they're probably heading to 120, which is just crazy. But a lot of people think that those summer months are going to be, the hog market's finally going to get going. So we'll see. Hog numbers are down. They've been down for a long time. USDA finally has kind of gotten with the program and the farrowing attention and the pig numbers, but they were off for so long that I think they probably cost hog farmers quite a bit of money, but that's a subject for another time. February cattle, $200. So fat cattle broke the $200 100 weight price. Feeder cattle, $277.50. This cattle price, I don't know. I would imagine, I don't know how much beef gets imported into the United States, but I'll bet you there's going to be more of it because at that price, I bet you people are thinking, heck, I can pay the freight and ship it over there for what I'm getting
Just
over
an
here.
FYI, we don't import fucking shit at Farmer Grade, so all American.
There you go, 10-4 on that.
Just a plug there.
Bitcoin, $105,000. Tesla, $416. Gold, $27.68. Silver, $28. I just threw Beyond Meat in there because it caught my eye because apparently with the change of administration, it's been down for like the last few days. I think they figured out that the fake meat program probably is not going to end up being on the government's priority list. So they're hurting a little bit.
Can't imagine how they're still going. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how many people. I don't have probably a good perspective to know how many people eat that shit, but I don't know anybody.
Well,
I literally don't know a single person that eats it.
Not profitably, because they've been losing money and they continue to lose money, and it'll just be a question as to whether or not the people that have invested in that will keep. They'll need another cash infusion here at some point because they keep burning through cash. We'll just see. When they do finally go bankrupt, we might we'll make Beyond Meat the sponsor of the Whiskey Minute, and we'll drink in the honor of their demise.
That's a good idea.
Anyway,
I can get behind that.
So questions of the day, the biggest question, I guess it's not really a question, the biggest answer to the problems in America.
Did you go through everything already?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's all
Bitcoin.
of it.
I didn't even hear you say Bitcoin. I was spaced out there for a second. 105,000. Now that's
pretty nice.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, if you're a long-time accumulator of Bitcoin, you're feeling pretty good. And if you just woke up and said, I ought to get some Bitcoin, I don't know. I guess I'd try to buy the dip, but I don't really know where the dip's going to be. But I will tell you that while I probably am not a buyer of Bitcoin right here, if I was like monthly, if I was adding to my holdings monthly, I would probably keep doing it. But if I just had some money and I was going to go out and throw it in there, I don't know if I'd do it at this level. However, I will tell you this. Among all the things that the Trump administration has done, there has not been any comment on cryptocurrency in general and starting a Bitcoin
ETF.
Well, a United States government Bitcoin strategic reserve, and Trump talked about that quite a bit on the campaign trail. And let's not forget that David Sachs has been absent off of All In Podcast because he is President Trump's main advisor, I think, on cryptocurrency. And
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and that guy, he's sharp. He's very sharp. And if I was betting, I bet the odds are better than 50-50. I would say they're probably better than 75% that the Trump administration will clarify crypto trading and clear up a lot of the ambiguity. I didn't say that right, but the ambiguous rules and regulations in crypto. And I do believe there's a pretty good chance that the United States will start holding Bitcoin. And if that happens, $105,000 will look pretty cheap a year from now.
It's all right. I don't say everything right either.
I know. Sometimes my tongue's a little too big for my mouth. So, and there's some pretty smart people out there that think Bitcoin will be double what it is now by the end of the year. I don't know. This is not investment advice.
That'd be pretty insane.
I think it's headed in the right direction. So, that's Bitcoin. If there's one thing Iowa does better than any other place on earth, it's growing corn. That's why the phrase "corn grows Iowa" is not just a saying, but it's a fact. That's why the Iowa Corn Promotion Board invests Iowa corn checkoff dollars in research, market development, and education to ensure continued demand for Iowa-grown corn. Iowa corn checkoff dollars are used to build global connections that open new markets for corn and corn-fed products around the world. Investments go towards educating consumers about the best fuel options at the pump, telling the stories of Iowa farmers, finding new ways to expand ethanol's market share, and so much more. Thank you for supporting the Iowa Corn Checkoff. Your support benefits not only your family farm, but the entire agricultural community, paving the way for long-term profitability for all Iowa farmers. To learn more about your corn checkoff investments, go to iowacorn.org. Now, let's get back to it. Trump, baby.
Yep.
Trump.
He's officially in. He didn't get shot. He made his rounds. I didn't watch a lot of the inauguration. I know it was kind of an all-day event, but lot of big surprise was all the Silicon Valley guys were there. Not all of them, but a lot of big hitters were there. I mean, obviously Elon was there, but Bezos, Zuckerberg, the memes came out in a big way. I think Trump's great, but my only criticism of him sometimes, man, is when he gets going, gosh, he can rant. He just can rant and rant and rant and rant and rant, and he doesn't compartmentalize his speeches. I feel like it's
does
like
the whole...
it's not like we're going to talk about this and then we're going to move to this and we're going to move to this. It's just like off the cuff, and works for him. But sometimes I just am like, oh my gosh, get moving on. I don't. And the other thing about it too, and Mom had mentioned this. Hey, buddy, we don't care about how big you won. We won so big. We know. We fucking know you won so big.
Popular vote.
We
All the
know,
swing states.
We know. Like, we know that's why you're in there. So just, okay, cool. Like, let's celebrate it, but, like, let's talk about the shit we're going to get done. I think that's what everybody's craving. That's what everybody wants out of the commander-in-chief right now. So those would be my two criticisms, because everybody that ever listens to this podcast as a liberal thinks that we just absolutely would kiss Trump's feet, whatever. But there are some things that we don't always love about Trump, but I do think he's the best man for the job out of the options that we had, so that's for sure. I'm excited to see. I think a lot of people are feeling optimistic.
Yes.
I think hope is back in the air here in America, which is great. And I just think the vibes are good. So that's really great, and I'm looking forward to seeing what plays out.
Yeah. So I watched most of it. My wife watched that was her popcorn day. She told everybody, I'm taking Monday off. I'm going to watch the whole thing. And she did, right up until they arrived at the first ball, because she wanted to see the dress that Melania was wearing. There was some awesome things, very entertaining things outside of the Trump himself. First of all, it was proven out that Mark Zuckerberg is not a robot. Because he was given Jeff Bezos' girlfriend. He was checking out her chest pretty hard, and the consensus is that she dressed like a hooker. For those of you that didn't see it, she was not. She had a nice white jacket on, but it didn't look like she was wearing much more underneath that. And old Zuckerberg, he couldn't help himself. That's a very funny.
That is a funny clip.
Because that's rolling. The memes are rolling on that. He's not a robot after all. The other thing that I thought was pretty funny is there's a great clip. While Trump was speaking, did you see that Theo Von's chair collapsed?
Well, so I saw that, but then I saw Theo, and I don't know, it's Theo Von, so you just don't know. But he said, like, that the Paul brothers messed with his chair and it broke.
Well, he was sitting with them.
Yeah, well, and he said on Twitter, like, he replied to the video and said, not cool, the Ball brothers messed with my chair. There's a time and place for that, da-da-da-da. But I didn't know if that was just for them to go viral with it, or if he was just giving them shit, or what, because you just never know with Theo Von, if he's being serious or not.
Yeah, you wouldn't,
especially on like a written Twitter or a written X post. It's like you can't hear him talk, so you don't really know. But Theo Von's awesome.
There's another great clip when they're headed to the Capitol. They're on this bus, and so it's both Paul brothers, Theo Von,
Conor McGregor, and the Paul boys' mother, and Conor McGregor is sitting next to his mom. And Nelk was on there too, Kyle.
And Theo turns around and goes, "Hey, leave Nancy alone," or whatever her mom. And they're like, "That's our mom." I thought that was great. And then there's a great clip at the whatever ball they were at. Mike Tyson is on one of the Paul boys' shoulders. So they've kissed and made up. They cashed their checks. They got their money. It's all good.
Yeah, that was a complete utter setup.
In watching that, you are 100% right. Trump literally said the same thing in like 4 different speeches. He spoke. First of all, I will give him credit. He did restrain himself more than I thought he would. But, man, he threw a lot of shade on Joe Biden while he was sitting there. I mean, he held back a little bit, but you definitely left that knowing that he thought that the previous administration was terrible, which I think he had every right to do that. But then he spoke again in the other room of the Capitol because there was about 1,800 people that weren't in that main room. And then he went to the White House. He went to the White House, and then he went to the Capital One Center. He gave that same speech again. Then he went to the White House, and he signed some executive orders. And I thought it was awesome because he probably answered as many questions in the 40 minutes that he was signing executive orders as Joe Biden did in, I don't know, 2 years of his presidency. And I mean, he was signing orders, answering questions, signing orders, answering questions. And I mean, it didn't matter what they asked him. He told them what they thought. And I thought that was pretty impressive. And then he came around and he did the same thing the next day. So he's already had two press conferences in 2 days. I haven't heard whether he did that again today or not. But, I mean, it's a whole different deal. The whole vibe of the White House and just the way he handles himself, I think we've all forgotten, like, what a politician who is engaged to his constituents looks like. I mean, it's night and day difference. And I also do enjoy watching the blood shoot out of mainstream media's eyes. And I've seen some really juicy Facebook posts,
calling Elon a Nazi.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was... Let's be real. I feel like Elon has a little bit of autism in him.
He's on the spectrum.
He's on the spectrum a little bit. And, you know, when he was telling that speech, people thought he did a Nazi sign. But he was speaking from the heart.
Yeah.
And he did that sign. And
it's a nothing.
It's like, people, you are crazy. You're literally crazy if you think that that's what. I mean, it's like
they're just grasping at straws.
It's theater. I mean, it's literally theater. They're literally comparing Trump to Hitler. They're calling Elon Musk a Nazi. I mean, it's like, come on, guys.
Get
come
ready, because
on.
it's going to be 4 years of that.
Oh
for
my
sure.
gosh, it's just the same shit. The ratings will continue to plummet.
So one of the first questions that we got asked that came in on Spotify was thoughts on Biden pardoning his whole family 15 minutes before Trump's inauguration. And I mean, should we be surprised by that? I don't feel that anybody should be surprised. I think the thing that was most interesting to me was he pardoned Fauci and Milley, I think. And it might have just been Fauci, but he specifically pardoned him from anything that he did going back to 2014. Well, 2014, I think, is when Fauci was in China setting up the lab over there, and also all of the labs that were in Ukraine. I think that's all the time frame when that was going on. So, I mean, I just thought it was interesting, but you shouldn't be surprised. I mean, all you have to do is look at the Biden family. They've been in public service their whole life, and they're millionaires, and they never made a very big salary in anything they did, but yet they're millionaires. That money, I mean, they have been bought and paid for. Joe Biden has been bought and paid for probably as long as any politician that's like alive today. I mean, he's right in there with Nancy Pelosi. I mean, not quite as successful a stock picker as she is, but still. So, I don't know. It doesn't surprise me. And I'm just happy where we're at. Think of where we would be if somehow Kamala Harris would have won this. I mean,
yeah,
I'd be scouring the internet seeing who's got ammo the cheapest, because I'd be convinced that it wouldn't be long before they're coming for your guns and all that. I mean,
wouldn't have been good.
It would have been terrible. So I'm happy. I feel like America is happy, despite all the blue hairs out there that are losing their minds. I think we're what? Somebody
it's true. It's true.
It's totally true.
You see the videos, they're meltdown. They're just melting down.
Oh, what about the minister at the prayer service?
Oh, that was terrible.
Holy Mother Mary.
Yeah, and it's all you look at the picture of these people that are like that, and everybody always says it's always in the eyes. The eyes never lie.
Nope.
When they got crazy eyes, you just know. You just know.
So somebody, I hate to say this, but I mean, somebody on Trump's staff already dropped the ball, because why would you send him there when the video is out of her at the George Floyd protest, and she's having a freaking meltdown in the street she's wearing like a pink minister's, whatever you call that. Why would you send him there? You're just asking for trouble. And she gave it to him. She shot her shot. She had it, and she took it.
And guess what? Didn't do a fucking thing.
No, Trump. They asked Trump what he thought. He's like, "What'd you think?" It's like, not very good, not very exciting.
It didn't do a damn thing. So she probably feels so good, but they didn't do nothing.
We got to pace ourselves, because we're literally 3 days into this thing, and I mean, it's just going to keep coming. But
the thing about it is, it came the first time he was president. I mean, it was every single day.
Oh yeah,
it was about him eating. You know, when Biden ate ice cream, it was what flavors eating. When Trump eats ice cream, it's, oh God, our president doesn't put his health first. He's in bad shape. He's not a strong leader. You know, it just expect everything. They're going to throw everything but the kitchen sink at him. They might even throw the kitchen sink at him. I don't know. It's just going to be what it's going to be. But again, I think that since he was president before, now he's president again, the landscape of media it's changed. Yeah. Like the way that this election was won was not through mainstream media. It wasn't through debates. Yep. It was through the media that we're doing here today. Mm. And I do believe that people's perception of his presidency, people being influenced by big media, it's just not going to be as successful as it was during his administration before, because people just know it's bullshit.
And he's going to be able to get information out to the people way easier than he did, because he's not relying on legacy media for anything. He is going straight to social media, and it's going to get out there. And I don't think, talking about the Department of Doge, you saw what happened with that bloated farm bill. It wasn't a farm bill. The budget extension bill, or the debt ceiling bill. You saw what happened. I mean, they used AI to go through that whole bill and tell you what was in it. And I guarantee you there's congressmen that they were shitting their pants, because that was the thing. They would get these monstrous bills and they would just tell people, well, you need us to tell you what's in it because we know better. Those days are gone, because everybody's going to know what's in this stuff, because AI is going to be able to literally sift it down to where just the bullet points, none of the legalese and none of the bullshit, you're going to know, and people are going to be on the phone and they're going to be emailing, and these politicians, they're going to be held to a lot higher standard than what they have been in the past, and I think it's going to make a difference. So I'm really looking forward to it.
TikTok went away, came back. There's a lot of theories out there. There was a straight up message from TikTok saying President Trump's working with us on that. Didn't he say he's going to give them 75 days?
Yeah.
And they're either going to pay America to keep the platform going and move their servers here and shit, or they're not, and they're going to ban it.
Trump said in the Oval Office, they asked him about it, and he goes, what I love about Trump, right or wrong, is he takes any situation and he simplifies a lot. Now, sometimes he oversimplifies it, but he just says, well, He goes, if I don't let them turn it back on, it's worthless. It's worth nothing. If we turn it on, it might be worth $1 trillion. So if we turn it on, it looks to me like the United States should get $500 million. So if they give us $500 million, they still win because if I don't turn it on, it's worth nothing. So he said, I'm going to give him 75 days. And then somebody asked him, would you let Elon buy it? He goes, yeah, if he wants to buy it, we'll negotiate it. There's a lot of people that want to buy, and it's just it is so like simple, and it's not lost on the American people that here's a guy that just is not interested in sound bites and a bunch of BS. He's just like, let's get it done. Let's get it done, because at the end of the day, in his mind, it's that simple. So I think the Chinese government, obviously, they may not let it happen because they may not want to give control of it. But if they don't give control of it, it's dead. I mean, it's done. They're not going to get any information. So they may decide that it's worth, getting some money versus not having anything. So I think it'll survive. I think that they'll work out something. But I don't think it's a sure thing. But I think odds are it probably will stay.
Yeah. The only thing I hated about it was just like, out of all the problems that we got in this country, banning TikTok, I don't even know if it cracks the top 50.
No, it's not.
Like, why are we even spending time on this?
It's a diversion.
But whatever. And I'm on the side of, hey, one last platform to be distracted by, one less platform that we have to post shit on.
Yep.
It's a great platform, but man, it takes a lot of time. It's a time suck for a lot of people, but it's also a lot. You can learn a lot on it. If it stays, it stays. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
I was most upset because I lost all my recipes.
That's the thing. There's a lot of recipes saved. That was my thing too. I have a lot of saved videos for. I want to come back to this later.
Yep.
I feel like everybody does that with their saved videos, but they don't ever come back to them.
Because Instagram has that stuff, but it's not near as smooth. It's just
harder to get to.
Yeah, it's not near as... The TikTok platform for that kind of stuff was really well laid out. I'll give it to
their algorithm
Chi-Coms. They did a good job.
The algorithm's pretty damn good. People have theories, though, that they shut it down so that they could like switch the server or change the algorithm. And like they never had the intention of shutting it down for what they said it was going to be shut down before, rather than it was to like make a change on the platform while nobody was on it. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what people are having theories about. So
there's a lot of theories out there. Our nation is full of theories.
There are. Hey, that's all right. Theories are good. That means we're questioning shit and we're thinking for ourselves, which we need to do more of and not just let somebody spoon feed it to us. Somebody asked, what kind of a manure equipment do we run? They live in eastern Indiana, and they work for a manure hauling company, and they run G. Hooley tanks and Bazooka Farmstar dragline equipment out of Washington.
Well, look at that. Now that's handy.
Yep, that's pretty good company.
The easy answer is none, because it's not ours. But David, if you've watched any of the podcasts or you've watched the Farm Channel, David Zeeser farms with us, and we farm with him because he has all the goody go fast stuff. He actually owns his own manure dragline business, and you're in good company because his pumps are all Hooley's, and he has it's one of the older ones, but it's a Bazooka Farmstar bar that he runs, and then he runs the Deere system on it that variable rates it. And the dominant tank that gets ran in southeast Iowa is a Hooley tank. You don't see, like, I can name you on one hand the times that I've seen anybody running like a noon pump or a noon tank. Man. I think I have seen somebody run one of those red, I don't even know what it's called. It's not a Calumet. It's something else. It looks a lot like a Hooley, but it's red. But everybody down here runs pretty much Hooley for tanks. And And yeah, Bazooka Farm Star is just a little ways from us. That's a local or a local company. They're an offshoot of Eldon C. Stutzman's, and good people over there. So yep, you're in good company because people around here run the same thing. Tara asked, I thought this was a good question. She's toyed with the idea of creating a YouTube channel for their farm. And two of her two questions are, do you think there is more room for another ag channel on YouTube? Let's start with that one.
You know, I could go very deep with this one. I think there is always room for another ag channel, but you have to find a way to stand out if you want to have real success. And I'd ask you follow-up questions, but you're not here to answer them. Are you doing this to bring in a secondary income? Are you doing this just for fun? Are you trying to entertain people? Are you trying to inspire people? Are you trying to launch a business off of the back end of the audience that you're creating? I mean, there's a lot of things that go into creating a YouTube channel. And that also, all those different things that all those different options that you might have in the back of your mind of why you're doing it might make you make the content different. Because the days of, I don't know, there's so many different ways to make content, and there's so many different reasons as to why you need to make content a certain way. Like for me, when I think about farmer grade and anybody that's building a business out there, I don't think it's necessarily about quantity, it's quality. And quality meaning you have some taste, you have some authenticity, you have something that builds community. Your content that you put out there builds community, connects with people, inspires people, gives them a reason of what wanting to buy in. You know, when it comes to, you're going to entertain people, then I think it's more about quantity. It doesn't have to be the highest quality. It doesn't have to be so deep, and you don't have to think about that as hard if you're just going for pure entertainment and you just want to be a creator on the platform. Regardless, though, regardless of how you go about it, you have to stand out in some way, in my opinion. And what makes you, that is unique to you, so that you already stand out already. But what you do on your farm, how you shoot your content on the farm, does it look like everyone else's? Does it not? There's just things that you have to think about if you're going to go down this road. Because what I'll tell you is it is a lot harder to be a content creator than what people think. Now, don't get me wrong. Some people make it their full-time gig and they're not like doing farming on the, they're not farming too, and all they do is just sit in the room and make content. Then that's not very hard. But when you're trying to farm or run a business and make content at the same time, it's not as easy as it's cracked up to be. It demands some stuff from you, and if you're gonna do it and do it successfully, you gotta be bought in and wanting to do it, and trial and error and figuring things out and trying new things. I mean, the thing that makes us unique here on Barn Talk and This'll Do Farm is people love the son-father relationship, and they also love how real we are and how we keep it real. And we're uniquely us, and we don't care. We don't care. We're not putting a front up. It is what it is. And we also are the only modern day hog farmers really on YouTube. This'll Do Farm, our YouTube channel on the farm, we're the only ones showing what's going on in these hog barns every day. That's unique to us. So those are all the ways that we're unique. What makes you unique? What makes you stand out? And I'm not trying to shit on your parade. I think go after what you want, but just know, it's going to take more than just picking up the camera and shooting. You got to have some real strategy behind it. And also I'd say that strategy will change and ideas will come to you. You're not going to have all the answers when you start. And if it's really an itch that you want to scratch that itch and go for it, because I'm of the belief that don't live life with any regrets, because you don't want to go to your grave with them. And at worst case, you give it a shot and you try, and it doesn't work out for you. At least you can tell yourself you tried and you gave it a real good go. But social media ain't going away. So it's here to stay. I think everybody knows it's here to stay. So I definitely know that there is an opportunity for another ag YouTuber. You just have to find a way to stand out. And just know it takes time. Mm-hmm. It takes time. We have been doing this for 5 years, probably getting close to 6 years now. Mm-hmm. With This'll Do Farm and then now Barn Talk 2. And we have done it consistently year after year after year after year. We didn't really get a viral moment. We've never gotten that video that just takes off and goes for millions of views, and we go from 30,000 subscribers to 250 to 500,000 subscribers. That hasn't happened to us. And it's rare. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen very often. So just know what you're getting yourself into. All that to say, I'm not trying to discourage you. Go after what you want, but just know there's a lot more to it than what you think.
I would say,
sorry, that was
that was all good.
I got my words out.
I think that was good. For me, if you're gonna start, are you gonna have is this a whole family effort? And if it is, that'll make it a little easier, because the only reason I am here is because Sawyer had the passion to do it, and I was willing to help. But I definitely was not and I still am not, the main creator of content. That is him. I am there to help, and I shoot some. I can do it, but I'm not the driver. However, it's a lot easier when you have somebody to talk to that is interested in it and that's in it with you, so that you don't feel so alone. Because when we started and we had 50 views on a farm video, and the first YouTube check you got was $50.
I don't even remember what it was.
It wasn't much. I mean, it wasn't much, and it wasn't much for a long time. And I agree with Sawyer. I think it's changed too. That's the other thing, is the bar is a lot higher. So even when we started, one thing that helped us was we started with pretty good equipment, but our quality wasn't perfect by any means.
It still isn't.
And it still isn't. But it was more about quantity, because you wanted to get it out there. But I feel like today, for you to grow, you have to have substance in what you're doing. So just showing what you're doing with no backstory or no reason or no flow to it. And the other thing, I guess my advice I would give you is this, and I'm pretty bad at this because I talk too much, but you have to understand that even though people are watching YouTube, people's minds today work like TikTok. That's part of the reason why TikTok does so well, because it's quick. It's quick. And so pacing is really, really important.
Flow is everything.
Yeah.
Pacing is everything.
Even if you've got something that you think, boy, this is the greatest thing ever. If that's the only thing you put in that video, I bet you and I could be wrong, but my feeling is that video is probably not going to do very well.
And I would also say, though, I do think that there are some instances that have happened recently with creators that I've noticed that they're going away from the short, quick pacing, and they're doing real and raw, long form, and it's working.
Yep.
Like, there's a guy named Sam Solik in the fitness industry that he's like a throwback to the old bodybuilder style, where he does like 30-minute to an hour videos, and it's literally him like not cutting his clips down at all when he's shooting, and he's just taking you with you through his day, eating his meals, going and lifting at the gym, explaining his workouts, and he just has that old school bodybuilding mentality, and he's like in his 20s, but he exploded. And like, when you talk about pacing, there's no pacing, but it's like that old school bodybuilding thing that people can get behind, and they like how raw and real it is. So maybe people are coming back the other way where they're like, man, I'm getting tired of just TikTok. I want something of substance. I want something that's real. So you just got to find that balance. But social media always changes. That's the other point. Social media always changes, and your strategy is going to have to change with it. And last thing that I'll say about it is look at other industries inside social media to give you inspiration other than just the one that you're trying to be in. Because there are creators that are in other spaces creating content that have some cool ideas that they do in their videos that you can take and apply and put them in your videos, you know, and put your twist on it that relates to your niche or your industry that you get inspiration from or inspires you to do something a little bit different from their idea. Because just sticking to what farm creators do, yeah, that's your foundation. But making yourself different, if you go and you see what's possible somewhere else, you can bring that back to what you do. And that might be different for people that watch farm videos. So that's the other thing that I'd say. Don't be stuck inside a box, because there's a lot of cool ass people making content out there. So
what's one thing you wish somebody had told you when you were starting?
Oh, jeez.
And would you have listened?
That oh man, I don't know. That's so hard to know. You're going to have to get real used to people shitting on your parade and hating on you. I mean, the hate is inevitable.
Yeah.
The hate's inevitable in your local community. The hate's inevitable with random people on the internet that tell you, you know, any insult that they can possibly think of because they don't like you. I mean, you're going to hear everything. So you have to develop you got to develop thick skin quick. And you got to stop valuing other people's opinions of you real quick.
Yeah.
I'm not saying be a complete and utter fuck out there and disrespect people, and your reputation means something, but don't let small-minded people bring shit on your parade and stop you from going after what you want. I mean, that's the end of the day. You cannot let people deter you from your mission and your goal, because they will do anything in their power to say anything that's going to make you react, anything that's going to make you get off of what you want to do, because when they look at you, they see somebody trying to do something different, and it's crabs in a bucket mentality. They don't want you to do more than what they have done or that they're going to do, because they don't like that shit. They don't like that shit. They don't like people that stand out. And that's just a reality. So you just got to get used to that, because that's not going to go away. That's not going to go away.
Yeah. I think you have to start with the end in mind. So, and you have to keep your eye on what you want, because there's going to be times that you're going to want to quit and you're not going to want to do it. And there's plenty of people that are going to tell you why it won't work. And there are plenty of people that when we started this thought that this was a cute little idea that was going to run its course.
People still say that.
Yep.
Oh, those videos are cute. Those are cool what you guys do. What do you do? Just pull your camera out and make it happen?
The best.
Like they can just do it. Oh, yeah, go try.
Yeah, the best are the people's like that will literally say, I should just I should do that. I should get a camera and do that. And when they tell you that, I tell them, yep, you should, because it's easy. I tell them it's easy. I'm telling them that there's nothing special about what we do. You should do it. Go do it. And because honestly, I believe that. So there isn't anything special about either one of us. But there aren't hardly any people out there that are going to stick with it long enough to ever find out whether they can do it. And I'm like, yeah, it's simple. Do it. Because I know you won't, but I'm not going to say that.
That's just the way that, whether you're starting a business, whether you're doing social media, whether you're starting a side hustle, whether you're trying to grow in your career, whatever you're trying to achieve, dude, the competition level in this day and age is never been lower, because people's attention span and people's willingness to go through the suck for a long period of time with no instant gratification, that number continues to climb, and the people that can do that, it just gets less. So if you can be one of those people that can just continue to do without instant gratification, you're going to you are going to outshine. I mean, you're going to win. You're going to win because most people can't do that.
Most people quit.
People quit. They are so used to getting instant gratification all the time that they cannot withstand the journey and what it takes to do anything successful. Anything, whether it's YouTube, whether it's business, whatever it is. That's just the reality. And so, yeah, that's all I got on that one.
It is, and you gotta be able to flex. The last thing I'll say is you gotta be able to flex. You gotta be able to pivot. I mean,
believe in yourself too.
Because when Abercrombie cut my modeling deal, I really thought that my life was over, but it wasn't. I just started a new chapter, and I thought it was going to be hand modeling, but here I am.
Yeah,
shit.
I would have paid to walk into an Abercrombie and see you on the fucking wall. That would have been hilarious. Holy shit! And modeling some of that torque.
I think they need to bring it back for middle-aged chubby dudes, and then I could do it. I could do it.
Torques. They probably had a signature torque cologne that smelled like hog shit that you could spray on.
Yeah, it smells like toxic masculinity.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, I really like this last question because whoever sent this in and this was off of Spotify, and their tagline wasn't their name, so I don't really know who it is. But it's somebody that knows a little bit of history because they said, Torque, did you ever happen to work with or happen to know any of the Aaron's construction crew from Harper? Well, I never worked with any of them because I was about this tall, but Aaron's, they poured the concrete on all of our Husky-built hog buildings that we built back in 70, 74, 75, 76. And my dad talked about those guys, and I think probably some of the first colorful metaphors that I ever heard that didn't come from my dad's mouth came from the crew that poured the concrete from Aaron's. And so I remember them coming over here those summers, and I was just enthralled. Like, as soon as I got off the bus, that's where I was over there watching those guys form concrete and tie ties. And yeah, and if I'm not right, see, this person might be able to correct me. They left like pouring ag concrete, and I'm not sure if it was one of them or one of the brothers, but I am pretty sure that they went on to pour Walmarts. Like, they got into some big crews. Like, they started running big crews. And the story that I remember my dad telling me was that for years, they poured Walmarts all over really all over the country. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but anyway, I think that was the Aaron's crew. And what's the guy's name? What's the truck driver's name?
There's a lot of truck drivers.
No, the one, you know who I'm talking about. The one that, the older guy that hauls hogs to St. Joe, curly hair, the old guy.
Oh,
what's his name?
You should know that.
I know. I can't. I just had a total. So one of the Aaron's sons drives a semi for Eichelbergers. I think we should have him on the podcast. I don't think we'd get a word in edgewise, and I don't have any idea what that episode would be about, but it'd be damn interesting.
Yeah, I forget his name.
I can't remember his name.
Gosh.
Anyway,
that's ridiculous. We should know that.
But yes, I remember the Aaron's construction crew very much from my childhood, and they did a pile. They did a pile. So with that, I think we should have a drink.
Oh my gosh, I didn't realize this is what we were drinking today. We got Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Select here, and I am not a big fan of Jack Daniel's, so we will see how it goes. But
now this is not your black label bottle of Jack Daniel's.
Yeah, well, it's in a nice bottle.
So these are actually, I think you'll find this tolerable.
Okay.
I think you'll find this.
Fun fact: I had a little bourbon night over with some buddies last weekend, and it was a hell of a good time. We had a whole history lesson on bourbon and whiskey, and we even had a Japanese bourbon there, and we had some Templeton rye, and we had some Templeton rye that was the original Prohibition recipe. And there was a hell of a lot of good bourbon out there. Angel's Envy was a really good one there. Redbreast was really good. I had never had Redbreast before. That was really damn good there. I took, what did I take?
Blue Run.
I took Blue Run over there. But man, there was a lot of bourbon. There was definitely.
Were you able to remember what the good bourbon was at the end of the night?
Well, those two I remembered. That's for sure. Okay. We were drinking some beers too, playing some pepper. None of that euchre shit. Pepper. That's what you play. It's way better. But yeah, really good time. But I just wanted to give my favorites of the night.
So our good friend Dave says you gotta take.
Jeez, you gave me a hell of a pour.
You don't have to drink the whole thing. So you need to take one. You need to take a little sip to cleanse your palate, to get your palate ready for what's coming. So don't judge this on the first drink.
Well, we got to find something to talk about in the meantime.
Well, you take a drink.
Dave,
and I'll
thanks for giving us pointers.
Yeah, that's right.
Making the show better.
Dave, well, I won't say. He'll remain anonymous, but good friend of the show, and I get a bottle of whiskey from him once in a while. And see, that didn't kill you, did it?
Yep, I'm not going to say anything. Just going to let it soak in. Oh, you're shaking it around like mouthwash, huh?
Oh, yeah, it kind of is.
Oh, jeez. Okay, well, do we twiddle our thumbs and...
Oh, no, that's good. I mean, that's enough. You just got to set the
so
stage.
now we have to go for another?
Yep, now you got to do another. Maybe that's a little bit of foreshadowing there.
It's not bad. Definitely not bad. I don't feel like it has doesn't have like a sweet flavor at any means. But, I mean.
Better than Black Label.
Yeah, way better. I am not a fan of Black Label Jack Daniels. Way better than that. I don't know. I'd give that like a 6.5 or 7.
Yeah.
It's not the greatest, but it's pretty damn good.
So these single barrel, there's a bunch of them, and
I'll do a little more.
They're kind of hard to get here in Iowa. At least they are for me. Like this one here, this is single barrel proof, and they'll have this bottle a lot, but some of the other ones they release, it's hard to find them.
I'd give that a 7.
Yeah, it kind of opened
it's
up
pretty
to
good.
You, didn't it?
It's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty damn good.
Yeah. So yeah, the story I always get is when you can find one of these and it's not one you have, you should buy it because they're pretty reasonably priced. And Jack Daniel's actually makes some pretty darn good whiskey once they let it age out a little bit. And so I only have 2, and I think it's all right.
Well, what would you give it?
Yeah, I'd say probably a 7. I mean, it's not the best I've ever had, but for the price, it's really good.
Well, how much is it?
I want to say that bottle was like $36 for a bottle of whiskey. That's not bad.
Yeah.
Side note, I don't know, maybe the last time we did a Whiskey Minute, I talked a little bit about, I think it's going to be a really good time in America if you like whiskey because prices are coming down. Because whiskey demand has leveled out and has actually declined. It declined a little bit last year, and this year I want to say it's down 4 or 5%. So a lot of your allocated whiskey that has been hard to get, demand is starting to slow down for that, and with it, this stuff where they get something in that normally it would sell for $45 and they're selling it for $120 or $89, you're going to see some of that get away. Now, the real premium bottles, I think that market is going to hold up better, but about everything else, I think you're going to see these prices moderate. So if you like whiskey and you like collecting a few bottles, see, Trump's inflation plan is already working because whiskey is starting to come down.
Now I know that was sarcasm, but for the libs that are listening to this show, just to critique us, because I see some comments that they'll listen to the whole thing and then give us a piece of their mind. That was just you being funny.
I was just being sarcastic. I don't think that Trump has done anything to help the whiskey market. So
yeah.
And if you can't figure that out, this show might be too sophisticated for you. But we love you just the same. Just keep watching.
Well, we'll
learn together.
We should go for 1 minute so we can get an hour.
Huh?
We should go for one more minute so we can hit an hour.
Okay. Well, hey,
this was a quick, rapid fire Q&A because I got a meeting I got to go to in 10 minutes. But what shows are you watching?
Finished Landman. Loved it. Loved Landman. Highly recommend it.
Yeah, Landman was great.
Finished Silo. Silo redeemed itself the last couple episodes, but the middle of that, I still think, I think this damn show is going to end up like Lost. Any of you that are of the age that I am, if you remember Lost, I hope it does go down that path because that sucked. Lioness, loved it. That was great.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I think Apple and Peacock are just absolutely kicking everyone's ass when it comes to TV shows. I mean, the shit that they're putting out is damn good. Damn good. Severance is back for Apple. If you've never watched Severance. I'm watching Chernobyl for the first time on HBO Max. Damn, if you guys have never watched Chernobyl, it's like I don't know, it's not a
docudrama.
It's like a docudrama of how it all went down and just the corrupt shit that happened there. And oh man, it's one of the best like one season shows I've ever watched, but giving that a run too. So a lot of good TV when you can find time to do it. I always like watching a little bit of TV because you don't got to think about nothing when you do it. So,
hey, finish up. If you've stayed with us this long, I'll throw out one thing. I should have mentioned this earlier. Our friends at Orbit Farm Technology. Last week, I get a phone call, and they wanted to know whether the Wi-Fi was working in the machine shed. And I was like, I don't know, because it's damn cold. I went to plug in the skid loader, and I unplugged the router over there. And they knew it. It came up because they monitor our internet, which is freaking great. And I was like, okay, I'll go check on it. Well, I had unplugged it, and I should probably hardwire that router in. But, yeah, if you want farm internet on your farm, Orbit Farm Technologies, those guys have been great, and it's how we keep track of everything around here because we got all our controls on it now. We're going to be adding cameras here pretty soon. Our LWE project that we're putting in, that's going to need internet for that, and those guys are going to supply it. So I just wanted to give a shout out to those guys. So
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's going to wrap it up, guys. I hope you got some value from the show. Please, please, please keep sending in your questions. It can literally be about anything. We are open to answering anything and everything. So email us your questions at barntalkshow@gmail.com. We appreciate the hell out of you guys. We love you guys. It's going to be a good time in America here in the future. So go get it, and we'll see you back here next week for another episode.